We have to lyrics for the opening.
My Tic Tacs were getting all messed up here.
Tic Tacs. Oh, it must be Tuesday or whatever the day of the week it is. Thank you for joining us. This is Q&A presented by Sportskeeda Wrestling and shown exclusively right here on Sportskeeda Wrestle Binge YouTube channel. While you're at it, do me a favor and hit that like button. And if you have not done so already, join the over 92,000 subscribers.
92,000.
Join this channel. That way you stay up to date all the latest and breaking news in the world of professional wrestling, plus lots of great programming like this show right here. Again, thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Joe Lowry. And as always, yes, and as always, we are joined by two wrestling insiders who are here to answer your questions. First up, he's a Hall of Fame wrestling journalist. He is also the senior editor of Sportskeeda Wrestling, and he survived a tornado in St. Louis this weekend. Let's welcome to the show, Mr. Bill Apter. Welcome, Bill.
Yeah, that's great. The first thing I thought about with the tornado was your good wishes. Thank you for texting me. And the what was it? The Tracy Lawrence song, "My Little Texas Tornado." Love, and Kerry Von Erich, of course.
Oh, there you go. There you go. And also on deck with us is the man who does get the news before it breaks. He really does, folks. He never shows his face. Let's welcome to the show, Joey from WrestleVotes Radio. Welcome, Joe.
Hey, what a day. Hello, Bill. Happy to be back with you guys, and glad to hear you're all right, Bill, after that tornado scare out in St. Louis. So.
For all I know, you could have been standing next to me, but I don't know what it looked like.
One day we'll figure that out. Don't worry.
Okay. All right.
Crazy weather. Absolutely. But before we begin, prayers up for Zoey Stark, who suffered a gruesome knee injury this past week on Raw. It appears to be the same knee in which she injured back in 2021. Just got word from Dr. Chris Featherstone that she is getting an MRI and headed into surgery. And that story is developing. That is breaking news for you right there. We just found that out literally minutes before we got on the air. Guys, last night, what did you think of Raw overall? I thought it was a phone-in show. I was telling Joe before we hit the record button. I just felt like this was a do-nothing Raw for some reason. What do you guys think, Bill?
Who the hell, if you don't watch other sports, was Halliburton? What's his first name?
Tyrese.
They spent I know that this is a whole thing where they're doing marketing and all that.
Oh, yeah.
The beginning of it was fine when he was arguing with the guy from the New York Knicks, but then when they did the pre-recorded interview, he had more time and more mentions on the air than almost anybody on that show. That really bothered me, and I'll tell you why. Because as a wrestling fan, I'm tuning into Monday Night Raw, and again, I understand it's marketing. It's streaming. It's all this tied in with Netflix, etc. But I'm a wrestling fan, and I'm watching Netflix to give more time to the wrestlers, not to Tyree. Is it Tyree?
Tyrese Halliburton.
Tyrese Halliburton, nice guy, I'm sure, even though I grew up in New York as a New York Knicks, and that still was the guy he was feuding with. But to me, Halliburton is always a carrying case, and they should have carried his case out of there because they spent too much time on him.
Joe, what did you think of this? Were you mad that Tyrese Halliburton graced our screens for like 7 minutes, or the fact that it was a pre-recorded interview of all things? What did you think?
Yeah. Joe, did you know that the Knicks and the Pacers are playing in the Eastern Conference Finals? I mean, unbelievable. Look, I'm as big as NBA fan as they come, but I was watching Monday Night Raw for the wrestling, so I agree with Bill. Right. They're just excited because, June of last year, they, quote, predicted this, and I get it, but they did go a little overboard last night, so hopefully it's a one and done, and as that series starts, gets back to it.
I mean, Pat McAfee and Michael Cole were very good with the interview with him, but I was watching this and saying, why is this guy getting more time than the wrestlers?
I know, it's crazy. It seemed to go on and on. I'm like, are they killing time? Did they axe a segment?
I don't think so.
That whole thing. I don't think so either, but it just was very confusing. I called it a phone-in show last night. They could have done that in their sleep. I found nothing productive about it. It was a horrible injury for Zoey Stark. Rhea Ripley looked very distraught when it happened. Michael Cole, I mean, at first I thought it was a work because they kept showing Zoey, but as soon as the referee picked her up and they panned to the Money in the Bank suitcases and they went off the air, I'm like, something's up.
So this is what I hate is when fans say, oh, these people, it's all scripted. Nobody ever gets hurt.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I hear you. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But prayers up for Zoey Stark, and hopefully she can recover from this. I just feel bad it's the same knee that she tore up back in 2021. So sweet recovery for Zoey. All right, we are off. It is Q&A time, folks. I'm pulling these questions as we speak. Balor Club guys chiming in already. He wants to know, is there any info on NXT will be doing an event during SummerSlam weekend? Joe, anything you hearing about that NXT SummerSlam weekend?
Yes, there is info on that. So that's a great question to start with. No, NXT will not be doing anything tied into SummerSlam weekend as of now. They do have their own event. It will be taking place at the end of August. And we're looking to nail down the date and location of that ASAP for you guys. But no, it will not be tied into SummerSlam weekend.
All right. Bill, you hear anything on your end?
Yes, same thing Joe heard.
Okay, awesome. All right. Thank you, Balor Club. I know he's got a few questions in there. Michael Franey's chiming in here. He's got an AEW, well, a former AEW personality question. Is Saraya contractually available to appear at Evolution 2 in July? And any updates on how the WWE media rights deal for their PLEs are going? Bill, what do you think? Paige,
the Saraya, I'm not sure on the Saraya. I don't want to give wrong information. And the PLE deal, nope. Maybe WrestleVotes Joe knows about that.
That's your cue, Joe.
Yeah, as far as I know, they're happy with Peacock. They're going to try to remain with Peacock if the offer's right, but I don't think they've been fielding PLE offers yet. That contract runs through next year's WrestleMania.
I misunderstood the question. I apologize. I misunderstood the question. But go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, no, that's fine, Bill. I don't know if they've gotten any real legitimate offers yet, as that contract isn't up relatively soon. So we'll see where it goes.
Peacock wants to retain them. I know that firsthand.
Yeah, Peacock. You know, they want to transfer everything over to Netflix by like 2027, 28, somewhere around there.
They probably do, but Peacock's trying to stay in the game here. It's a streaming ratings winner for Peacock.
Oh, big time.
So why let it go?
All right. Moving on here, a good friend Nassam Bahar is chiming in here. He wants to know any update on the location of the Monday Night Raw after SummerSlam. I'm getting a lot of SummerSlam questions here. Joe, anything where they going after SummerSlam?
Don't know for sure. Should be announced within the next couple of weeks or so. It is interesting to note that Madison Square Garden is open. So I guess that would be possible.
Nice. Bill, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I heard it would be somewhere near the travelable by car distance.
Travelable. Is that a word? Travelable?
I just made it up.
All right. There you go. All right. Matt Ham's coming at us with another good one. Have you heard of any future opponents for Gunther besides Goldberg heading into the summer? We kind of got a little headway on that last night. Joe, what do you think? Any future plans for Gunther, who we might be facing?
No, seems like June 9th. It's either Jey Uso or Logan Paul. And then I would imagine on to Goldberg at some point. So no, nothing other than those names.
Okay. Bill?
I don't know about Goldberg at this point. If it's Gunther Goldberg or after Logan Paul, it might be Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
it was amazing on Monday Night Raw.
Yep.
That he was the star of the show and he really didn't have to do any physical work.
Yeah.
At all. And so it was very good to see him.
Because they phoned it in. That's what they did last night.
Right. No, but nobody knows what this means anymore, Joe. It's now just. But seriously, though, I think that Gunther, that the fans are going to start treating him like they treat Jacob Fatu. I think the way they were running things on Raw this past week is that he's going to be still stay a heel, but going against other heels. Okay. And, with Seth Rollins at this point, his whole babyface thing right now is pretty much gone. Yeah. He's now looked at as a heel pretty much. It's amazing how he can just switch like that and the fans go with him.
Have you guys noticed there are just a lot of interchanging parts lately on WWE programming?
Yeah.
Like it's you can't keep up with it. Even if you miss that one segment, you got to go on social media to check it out. Joe, do you feel like that?
100%, Joe. I felt that way for a while. They're doing their best to keep it spicy, I guess maybe is the word there, but they're confusing people too at the same time. So
Right.
A little more balance there would be great.
When you said that it's a phone-in show, tell me what you define that as.
Kind of like eat, sleep, repeat. Nothing out of the ordinary, just your same monotone. This is happening. That's it. Move on. Next up. Like I said, I think a lot of things, there's a lot of interchangeable things going on right now. If I turn that show on at 8:00 and then again at 10:00, in between that time, I would have thought Seth Rollins was going to fight Gunther for the title. I didn't even know if Jey Uso was still going to have the title by 11:00 last night.
Did it seem to you like it seemed to me that it was almost like a mid-card show?
Yeah,
the whole show was not. There was nothing spectacular main event. They did save Uso and Braun Breaker for the
non-title
end,
too, by the way, non-title.
Yeah. That was the other thing I wanted to bring up. Why they made it a non-title match, because that has it has less appeal to it as a non-title match.
I call it the phone-in show. Less is more last night. I don't know why. I just felt that I could have turned that thing off at 8:30 and turned it back on at 10:30, and I wouldn't have missed a thing outside of obviously the Zoey Stark. Joe, do you feel like that sometimes?
I do. Maybe it's the time of year people are let down after WrestleMania, but I don't feel that this year. I don't know what they're doing. Bill, as far as why Jey Uso and Braun Breaker wasn't for the title, I think they're focused on Saturday night. Jey Uso and Logan Paul for the title, so maybe they didn't want to throw too much at us. I don't know.
They could have done a finish with Logan Paul running in.
Yeah, they could have.
Did you guys? Are there any women's matches on Saturday night's main event?
No.
See, I find that so odd. And of course, the Liv Morgan fans were all upset because she was nowhere to be found last night. But she is posting on social media of all her beautiful farm animals down in Tampa. So I would assume with Raw being in Tampa next week, she should probably be back on the air. So,
I hope so. She's definitely, it was amazing that the whole thing they're doing with Roxanne Perez now, almost trying to replace her, just like an understudy, so to say. And it just, I don't know, it didn't hold a lot of weight to me.
Like I said, that could have been a filler for last night, just to keep the internet going and all that stuff on the speculation side. But all right, we got to move on. We got a lot more questions here. Matt Ham also has a question in regards to the Money in the Bank matches. So far, we have Solo Sikoa that's qualified for the men, and Alexa and Roxanne and Reed for the women. Do we know of any other matches, Bill? That
I don't.
No,
I don't.
Joe, what about you?
No, they're keeping it quiet. The participants are being kept quiet, and I don't think I'd be surprised if all 6 on both sides were actually filled creatively. So I think they're keeping their options open.
Maybe this is where Gunther gets the shot at the title again. Maybe he's going to come in for a Money in the Bank match.
That's also another thing I got last night was, when is Jey Uso going to lose the title? That's all I keep hearing is like,
that's it, Joe. That's all the time. Whenever someone wins the title, what happens? When are they going to lose the title?
Where's Cody Rhodes?
Really? That's a lot of people are asking me that at this point, and I'm sure he's having a nice family time, which he deserves. But he's sorely missing from that. Just his theme music and his entrance alone, that could have made main event last night.
No, I hear you. All right, Matt Ham has a follow-up question here. With the acquisition of AAA and the UK tryouts, which are reportedly lead to launch of NXT Europe, I haven't heard of that one yet. When will we expand it to Japan, especially with their partnership in Noah? Joe, what do you think about that?
Yeah, those NXT Europe rumors came up today. Looks like that's happening. As far as the Japan stuff, I wouldn't expect it before 2027. A true footprint by the WWE over there, at least a year or two away.
Okay.
Yeah, totally agree. Agree.
Okay. Now here's an obscure question from Balor Club Guy podcast. Any info on where the WWE meet and greets will take place during SummerSlam weekend? I feel like the American Dream Mall will be a cool location. They don't announce those for like what, 2 months out? Probably next month, Joe.
Yeah, usually a little closer to the event, but because of the
greet?
location, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if those small meet and greets happened at MetLife in the concourse or something. Just because of the location, not easily accessible to a lot of entertainment areas outside of that American Dream Mall. So to be determined.
All right. Bill, what do you think? Same thing?
I know someone who is in a very high position at the American Dream Mall.
Ooh.
Wouldn't it be great to have the American Nightmare go to the American Dream Mall? I heard there's talks going on, but I don't know anything for sure.
Okay. Well,
but usually, like WrestleMania week, they try and keep the WWE Access or whatever it's called now on the same few days before or during the weekend. I think SummerSlam's going to do that too. And WrestleCon has already announced that they'll be doing WrestleCon that weekend as well.
Okay. All right. And another question from Balor Club. Any info on the location for the final SmackDown before SummerSlam? Boy, we're just getting way ahead of ourselves.
People want to make plans. They want to make plans.
Usually that's out probably with SummerSlam's at the end of August. When's it? The middle of August this year?
First weekend of August.
Oh, it's the first week. So, June, the first week of June will give 2 weeks, 2 months. So,
yeah,
hopefully we'll have it for.
And I will not be there this year. This year I'm hosting the Mid-Atlantic Gathering. I'm doing my one-man show and hosting part of the weekend in Charlotte, North Carolina. So you fans that are watching this, if you go to Google and put in the Charlotte, North Carolina Wrestling Gathering, hopefully I'll see you there.
All right. And okay, Balor Club's putting in one more question in here. What's the deal with Finn Balor for the summer? Joe, what do you think is going to happen to Finn Balor this summer?
Same thing he's been doing. A lot of people have been saying over the last, when we reported that he was in line for a quote push back in January, people thought he was going to win a title. He was going to do this. He's going to do that. If you look, he's been one of the more featured wrestlers since the move on Netflix. He's wrestling almost every week. So they're doing their best to get him on TV, and he's doing a great job at losing, as crazy as that sounds, although he did win last night. So I would just expect more appearances and more action for Finn Balor. Whether that equals a title, I don't know.
What do you think, Bill? Finn
Balor?
I
just think there's, more heat with he in the Judgment Day. I don't know where they're going with this. I think he and Dominic need to get into the ring against each other.
I could see the intergender tag match already happening. Roxanne and Finn versus Liv and Dom. I could see that happening.
Absolutely, Joe.
So,
all right, possibility, good possibility. And I think that would be a good match.
Todd J, a.k.a. the Jake Man, Darby Allin. Yeah, he climbed Mount Everest. We got all the pictures online yesterday. He wants to know any talks of when he will return to AEW. Joe, have you heard anything on that?
They say it takes, anywhere from 2 weeks to 3 weeks to get back down the mountain. So I would be stunned if he showed up Sunday night at Double or Nothing. But I'd imagine he's back on TV to push for All In. So maybe a month or so.
All right, cool.
I would think Tony Khan already has a large derrick going up the mountain there, waiting to bring him down. But what's amazing is that he planted the AEW flag on top of Mount Everest, I was told. And for them, I would think that tomorrow, for those of you who are watching this on Tuesday, Wednesday is AEW, I would think they would open the photo, the show with an opening photo of him standing atop Mount Everest with that flag. Wouldn't that be an amazing sight?
Yeah, I hear you there.
Completely.
Todd's got another question. He wants to know why TNT put on Black Adams starring The Rock the other night when AEW went off the air for technical difficulties. Oh, that was a rough one. You not only do you cut the feed, but then you throw The Rock on everybody's screen during AEW time. What do you think of that, Bill?
No, it doesn't matter what I think. That's probably what they just had in the bin. Somebody said, press the button, put something on. They probably never even gave it a thought. Or that movie was scheduled to be after the show.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah, people are looking for conspiracy theories on this whole thing. It was a malfunction, people. It wasn't a conspiracy theory.
I'll go with the conspiracy theory because
Of course you will. What a day. What a day.
They were pushing everybody over to HBO Max, and then they're like, oh, if you're on the West Coast, you'll see it in its entirety. I don't know. I mean, yeah, okay, it was a transmission trouble, but, you know, that's the first time that's ever happened in that company's history, and all of a sudden it happened that night. So I don't know. Is what it is. Is what it is. All right, moving on here. Nassam, we already answered that one. Are we going to see any women's matches on Saturday night's main event? I do believe not.
We might. We might. Although they're putting out the whole card, I'd be surprised if they didn't do something with one of the women or two of the women. Something.
Yeah. What do you think, Joe? If you would,
I'm surprised.
Yeah,
I'm surprised in general. There's not a match advertised with the women, so they have time Friday night. They could advertise one. They can do anything they want. We know that. So if they decide to make a match and put it over social media Saturday morning that it's happening, then it'll happen that way. But I'd be surprised, like Bill said.
There's like already 5 matches confirmed. That's a lot for 2 hours. Don't forget commercial breaks and all that stuff. So
well, I'm going to hate to see poor R-Truth take a horrible beating at the hands of John Cena, and that the fans love R-Truth, and John Cena is going to beat the tar out of him because R-Truth isn't going to want to fight back. It's his hero.
What do you guys think of like a false finish? Have R-Truth win?
No, not going to happen.
Then it gets taken away. Wouldn't that be a riot?
No, it's going to get more heat onto John Cena because of who he's beating up, because R-Truth is so loved by the fans.
You think it's squash match? You think this thing's over in 5 minutes? No,
I just think he's going to not want to hit his idol back, and he's going to keep taking a beating, and then maybe for a few minutes he'll say he's had enough and get up and start punching Cena. But I think it's going to be a very sad thing for him. All
right. Hey, Joe, Marcel wants to know which European countries are being discussed for a PLE in 2026.
Oh, boy.
What a question.
Marcel, my friend Marcel. The only one that consistently comes up is Italy. So they're getting a show at some point. That's the only one that consistently shows up when we ask those types of questions.
All right, cool. Nassam, any
By the way, this depends. If you're watching this in a foreign country, they might be working in New York.
Yeah, you never know.
Next question.
Nassam's chiming in. Any update on Zoey Stark? Yes. Dr. Chris Featherstone just broke the story right before we hit the record button at 6:00 Eastern time that she is scheduled for an MRI and heading into surgery right afterwards. So don't know the extent of the injury. That stuff's obviously under wraps right now, but I'm sure once we find out, it'll be all over the place. But prayers up for Zoey Stark on that one. And he's got another question, guys. Are they teasing Roxanne Perez as the newest member of the Judgment Day? Bill, what do you think? Are they?
I had already said that while Liv Morgan's out, and then there might be some heat between Liv Morgan and her when Liv Morgan comes back. She might have to fight for a place in the Judgment Day. Wouldn't that be interesting?
Oh, that
absolutely
would be.
That works for me.
Joe, anybody on the inside talking about that today?
The Roxanne Judgment Day stuff?
Yeah.
I think it's more testing the waters, see the reaction. She looked the part already. I mean, she fits that group. So, we'll see. But I would love to see her and Liv for an official spot inside the Judgment Day. That'd be fun, Bill.
Yeah, that'd be kind of
cool. I think so. You beat me and you get a spot.
And you're in.
You beat me. Yeah, there you go. Angels chiming in. Will Cody and Randy move to Raw or stay on SmackDown? Also, when do you guys think we'll get Randy versus Cody feud? Okay. It's such a big money match in the feud, but we haven't even gotten a tease for it yet. So, what do you think? Once Cody comes back, is he still on SmackDown or does he move over to Raw? Joe, what do you think?
As far as I know, he's on SmackDown for the time being. Once the draft happens, they can shake it up. As far as the Randy and Cody program, I hope they wait until Cody's champion again. I think that deserves the title. I think there's more story to tell like that. So could be a while.
Bill, you were in Randy Orton's hometown this weekend of St. Louis. What's the scuttlebutt over there about Randy?
Scuttlebutt over there is I did an interview with his father, and he agrees that Randy is at the peak of his in-ring, mentally and physically, career. There's something that's happened to him. It's just a whole metamorphosis, and that he's looking to, see that Randy hopefully will get one more title before he calls it a day.
All right, cool. Good stuff. All right, a good friend Michael's chiming in here. This is a long one. My goodness. Okay, so here we go. Is CM Punk versus Roman Reigns being planned as one of the matches for the first ever 2-night SummerSlam? Also, in the wake of Tyrese Halliburton and Jalen Brunson leading their respective teams, the Pacers and the Knicks. Did you know that the Pacers and the Knicks are going to the Eastern Conference Finals?
I had no idea.
So they want to know if they're going to get.
Here.
So the bottom line is here, we're going to get CM Punk, Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, and also we're going to get Tyrese Halliburton versus Jalen Brunson for a match at SummerSlam. Bill, yes or no?
The Tyree one, I hope not. I hope not. Too much. He's no.
Okay.
Don't do it. And what was the other half of the question?
CM Punk versus Roman.
That's a good possibility.
Okay, Joe.
Punk and Roman, again, it's a possibility. I think they're probably going to stay away from each other come SummerSlam. They're both baby faces at the moment. As far as Brunson versus Halliburton, I think WWE would do it in a heartbeat. I think the NBA will certainly not allow that. So, no, I don't expect that to happen.
Okay. Looks like we got a new subscriber. Xavier Aguilar is chiming in. He wants to know if we heard anything about the 6-man tag match at SummerSlam main event with Travis Scott and John Cena. They've been alluding to this on a few social media outlets. I'm not really, I know nothing about that. No. Bill, have you heard anything about this?
No, I haven't. But now, then again, you got Travis Scott. So when we have Halliburton, Scott, maybe we're going to put a whole bunch of people from rap music, basketball, football, baseball, and have a freaking Money in the Bank match. And the winner of that, I don't know what he'd get.
A WWE title, of course, but
no, he will get the Stanley Cup.
Joe, what do you think? Have you heard about this one yet?
No, I have no idea about the 6-man that this guy's talking about. But Bill, don't forget that SummerSlam is also hosted by rap superstar Cardi B. So,
I know that. Also, it's right outside of New York City where the Knicks are.
That's they do play.
Cardi B. It's Cardi B. All right, Xavier's got another question. I love how they sneak in these questions. Who is the eternal favorite to win the men and women's Money in the Bank match? Well, it's a little early, but you guys get any? I think we had this last week. I think too.
Yeah, I'd like to see Gunther win the men's.
Oh, okay.
For him to get a title shot.
Okay.
In terms of women, that'd be a good thing for what's her name again, for the not Roxanne Perez. Yeah, Roxanne Perez to win that, and then the Judgment Day says, "Well, you're part of us."
Okay. Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, any match that Rhea Ripley's in, she's got a great shot at winning. So she's officially in that ladder match now. If Julia makes the cut, I'd say she's a favorite.
Ooh.
And the men's side is wide open. I haven't heard any names, but again, it's a little early. So we'll see what happens.
Why do I feel like they're going to give it to Solo? I just have a feeling that they're going to give it to Solo Sikoa.
They absolutely might.
I don't know.
And that sets up the match with him and Jacob.
Maybe. I mean, I guess if
that makes too much sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does make too much sense. I mean, long-term storytelling. My odds-on favorite for the women for me is Chelsea Green. I like to see her get. She'll be great with that briefcase for like the entire year. She won't cash until WrestleMania. I could see her Secret Service protecting the, all that stuff.
What do you think, by the way, about her husband, Matt Cardona, saying that if he comes back to WWE, it's not going to be a Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder's dead.
I don't know. That's something you have to talk over with WWE. What do you think, Joe?
I understand where he's coming from, but the WWE audience knows him as Zack Ryder. So I think he's kind of shooting himself in the foot.
Yeah, if they're going to say, hey, listen, we'll give you X amount of dollars for the year if you come back as Zack Ryder, and it's money that's busting out of the seams, so to say. Yeah, I don't think he would turn it down. I hope
neither do I.
Okay. Sean Garner's coming at us with, will Liv and Raquel be leaving the Judgment Day? Ooh, Bill, what do you think?
That's a good possibility, depending, again, if they bring in Roxanne Perez, maybe that's going to get Liz all PO'd, and they're going to say, if she's in, I'm out.
Yeah, could be. Joe, what do you think?
Don't think they're going to leave the group as is. I think her and both of them and Carlito and JD are going to stay together. Finn may be the odd man out, so we'll see.
All right. And he's got another question. Sean is asking, who else gets the call up from NXT? Interesting. Joe, what do you think?
I believe Tony D is ready. I don't know if they're going to pull the trigger here this time, but I think he's ready. A name that's been there for like 3 or 4 years now that really needs an opportunity is JC Jane.
That's exactly who I was going to say.
Yep.
See, there you go. I think she's more than ready, so we'll see.
There you go. All right. Matt Ham's coming at us again. Have you heard of a date for the draft? Any dates on the draft? Bill, have you heard anything on that?
Nothing.
I don't think it's on their radar yet. They're still trying to get storylines together.
We're talking about things
if there's going to be a draft, they have to get through SummerSlam before they think of the draft. To me, should be after New Year's. I mean, next year, if it were me.
All right, and of course he's asking again, have you heard of there any talk of doing Io Sky versus Mayu Iwatani in the Marigold or WWE? That's a tough one.
I've heard nothing on that.
No.
Yeah, I've heard Marigold. I know Julie is not competing, scheduling conflict. So she's not even going to be there this year. So I don't know about that one.
I wish they spelled her name Julia, because every time I see Julia. She's part Italian too. It's incredible.
Yeah,
her nationality. So, yeah. RJ3 is coming at us with, is it safe to assume the Super Show Mexico will take place in mid-July / mid-August? He wants to make plans around it to attend. So your answer, Joe, on this is going to affect his travel plans. So go ahead.
Yeah. So I got to be careful here, huh? Safe to assume no. I think that show could very easily happen after SummerSlam, which is, like we said, the first weekend of August. So there's a lot on their calendar right now. They haven't announced this Super Show Mexico. This was from WrestleVotes Radio last Thursday. We said we don't know the date or location yet, and that remains. I haven't heard about a date or location, just that this big event will be happening in 2025.
Yeah, they've got to get past SummerSlam before they announce all these other things.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
Right now, the focus is SummerSlam.
Yep, SummerSlam. WWE's Lobby Monster wants. Oh, he's got a 2 question. Okay, this one's for Bill. He wants you to pick a superstar from the 70s that would fit in with today's product.
The Grand Wizard.
The Grand, yeah.
Wow.
Good one. Nice.
Absolutely. If I told you that Stan the Man Stasiak will defeat that little greaseball Pedro Morales, he missed the Grand Wizard, Abdullah Farouk, Ernie Roth, lost when he lost his life in this generation of sports entertainment.
Yeah,
he missed his calling. He would have been so great to manage Jacob Fatu.
Yeah,
to manage any of the to manage the Samoans, he would have been perfect. I'm talking about the current Samoan people. He would have been perfect. Wow, thank you for that. Good question.
Nice. And then Joe, he's got one for you. WrestleVotes, who's the most over current wrestler? He doesn't specify male or female, so you can take your pick on that one.
First ones that come to mind are Roman and Cody, obviously, but the reaction that CM Punk got last night was huge. So that's a good judgment of who's over, is how they react when your music hits, and they reacted pretty strong for Punk. So I would say CM Punk.
CM Punk and Rhea Ripley.
Oh, Rhea's been getting some serious ovations.
Yeah. I mean, the minute her theme started playing, that place came alive.
There you go. Matthew Ham wants to know any plans of Seth and Cody at SummerSlam. Boy, jeez. Joe, have you heard anything about that one?
No. I could watch Seth and Cody wrestle every night of the week, but I haven't heard that, so don't think so.
There's no reason for it. There's no reason for it at this point. They haven't planted any seeds for SummerSlam for Cody and Seth Rollins. If they brought Cody back, even let's say next week, I think I can't see them putting him again with Seth Rollins. They'd have to give him some fresh blood to work against.
No, I agree. I agree exactly. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Seth Cody for a while. So, Michael's
By the
chiming in.
way, I have a question for both of you.
Yes.
Whose laugh do you enjoy better? The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, or Seth Rollins?
Oh, got to be Ted. I
Yeah,
love
me
that.
too.
Yeah, I'll go with Ted. Yeah.
Okay.
Because everybody's got a price.
Yeah.
Michael's telling us, gentlemen, good evening. Hope you're doing well. When Roman Reigns returns, do you see him tagging up with Punk versus the Heyman stable, or will Punk have moved on by then? Have a great night. Kind regards, Michael. Joe, what do you think? Roman Reigns comes back. You think he's going to actually tag team with CM Punk? I don't know if I see that or not, but
stranger things have happened.
never.
And I guess, right, that's a great answer there. Never say never.
Bill, what do you think? Would you like to see
same
that?
thing. It depends on the storyline.
Okay. This broke some breaking news earlier today. Nasam wants to know any reason why NXT canceled their Tampa taping.
Yeah.
Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, because they sold no tickets. I
I
think they sold 1,400 or 1,500 tickets. And when you're right down the street from the performance center that you run every week, you could easily just cancel it and have a standard show. It's a tough ask for 4 nights in a row. Saturday night's main event, Battleground, Monday Night Raw, and then to get people there a 4th night in a row on a Tuesday to watch NXT was a lot to ask. So it didn't work. That's why they canceled.
It's a lot of money to go to all these shows.
It is. And they're taking over Tampa, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and now they're going to push it for Tuesday. So
that's a lot.
Yeah, it is. Yep. I hear you there. I think we have a couple of live questions coming in here right now. Michael Franey wants to know, can anybody provide some clarity on the current status of Dr. Britt Baker? Are they sitting her out until her contract expires? Bill?
I don't know. I don't have any information on that.
Okay. Joe, do you know anything on this?
I don't know anything, but my hunch is that this is going to be treated a little differently than the way Rey Fenix was treated and Miro was treated. I can't see the news break one day that she's been released. I think they're going to try to repair whatever kind of damage is there, and they're going to try to make her what she was at one point again. So I'd be surprised if she left that company anytime soon.
Yeah, I used to love her and Thunder Rosa going at it. They said that St. Patrick's Day brawl, that stole the show. I miss her. I miss her in the ring. She graced our screens on Netflix with the Cobra Kai season finale. She was on that season, so that was kind of neat. But yeah, she's been traveling a lot lately. But I don't know if she's not injured, correct?
No. The last time that she was on TV was when she had that unscripted moment with Serena Deeb yelling at her that nobody cares, and we haven't seen her since, and that was November. So I don't know.
It could be a surprise on a pay-per-view. You never know.
This
you
Sunday,
never
maybe.
know.
All right. Colin Mack is chiming in. He goes, "Hey guys," he's got a long question. My men's league softball season just started. We recently took a different approach to our lineup by having a slower player lead off. His job is to get on base, which he does well. So it got me thinking about opening matches. What is the job usually of the performers in the opening match of any show? Is it set the tone for the rest of the night? WWE's had a few opening matches that have stolen the show. Not sure if that's by design or just a happy accident. Thanks, guys. So yeah, let's talk about that real quick. Opening matches.
So
you put a big banger out there at the beginning. And is it tough to follow that up, or do you lose the crowd for a while and come back to that? I mean, Bill, you go ahead with that one.
Yeah. So when I was shooting pictures monthly at Madison Square Garden, they always had an opening match that made the crowd get into the match and booing and cheering and everything. They generally weren't. It was a slow build to match 1 would be good, match 2 would be good. Match 3 might be a little bit better. The match 4 or 5 was usually the main event. And then it was a come down after the main event. So yeah, it sets a tone for the crowd to get into it. It's that opening volley. You want to grab the crowd right away. But these days, a lot of companies put on like a main event at the beginning of their TV show, and it's hard to follow that. I don't believe in that. I believe in the slow build.
Joe, you slow build or you get right to it?
I don't. That's a hell of a question from that guy, Colin.
Great question. Great
softball.
Yeah.
I hope that his softball hitter is a main event player, and the match goes well. No, I don't know. It's for me. It's the event that you're talking about. So when WrestleMania comes along, I don't mind when a world title opens. I don't mind when a women's world title opens. But when, if a women's or men's world title were to open a random edition of Monday Night Raw, I think that'd be a little silly. So to me, it's all about what event we're watching and how it goes from there.
Yeah, see, I'm thinking of like when they used to run spot shows, like the garden shows weren't generally TV based at all. So it was more made for the live crowd. But today, it's totally different than it was back in the 70s, where they were able to do that. But now you got to grab the viewer immediately with star power.
Yeah. And it's all based on that quarter hour too now.
Yes. Yeah. And all that stuff, so it's all about the ratings.
My thought is, Bill, I'm with you. I grew up with the slow build era. I used to go to the Garden all the time and all that. And the first 4 matches were, enhancement talent matches and so forth. And the gradual build to the main event was great.
Yeah.
I think in this day and age with the roster and the superstardom that these people have and the money that's at stake, it has to be you hit the, what is it, all gas no brakes? We hear that all the time now. I think that's what it's going to have to be for the WWE for a while, because they have so much talent. They could have banger after banger after banger if they wanted to, but it is what it is. So I mean, it's a sign of the times. That's all I can think of for that one. So good questions tonight. What'd you guys think of those questions?
Excellent. Especially that last one. I really like. That's my favorite question. Every week we're going to pick a favorite question of the week. That was mine. Joe Lowry, what was your favorite question of the week?
My favorite question tonight. Actually, let me look back at them because I read them to you guys.
That's cheating.
Well, is Liv and Raquel going to leave Judgment Day?
Okay. What about you, WrestleVotes Joe?
No, that last question was incredible. It was incredible.
Yeah,
I had to go against the grain. I couldn't agree with that. Good stuff. Thank everybody for chiming in with the questions. Bill, what's going on for you this week? What's you come back from St. Louis? You survived the tornado.
Came back wonderful. Willis back from the tornado, baby, if you will. So just some great podcasts with you and WrestleVotes Joe, with Dr. Chris Featherstone, Mac Davis, and Holla Holla, Teddy Long. Welcome.
Holla.
Congratulations on getting the Southern Illinois St. Louis Legends Award this past weekend. You deserve it.
How was Herb Simmons, by the way? I love
Great. Yeah, Herb's one of my favorite people in the whole world.
Joe, WrestleVotes, any teasers for Thursday?
Sure. People can expect right here on Sportskeeda, Money in the Bank news, Worlds Collide news, NXT news. And I mean, we've put some feelers out there. This Sunday is Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
So, if AEW wants anything crazy out there, we'll be the ones to do it. So, balls in their court.
All right, there you go. Coming up this week on WrestleVotes
and
Radio.
He doesn't mean Mahoney.
Doesn't mean Mahoney. All right, folks, that's going to do it for all of us here. I want to thank all the viewers who sent in questions for tonight's show. We do this every week. So if you have a question, just drop it in the comments on all of Sportskeeda's wrestling social media pages, including this video. They will grab them from there. I also want to thank everyone who's just tuning in to watch us. We greatly appreciate it. And do not forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Over 92,000 subscribers.
92,007. We picked up 7 more today.
There you go. So I'll ask you guys, what are you waiting for? Hit that like button and subscribe. That way you get all the latest breaking news in the world of professional wrestling, and join this channel today. And as always, I'm going to say I'm out of here, folks. Until next week, I'm Joe Lowry. Bill and Joe, take us home.
We will see you. Hit it, Joe.
At the matches.
All right.
Matches.
That's a wrap.
It's a slow build. It's a slow build.